The Kindness Method, written and read by Shahroo Izadi.
Forward. In the summer of 2016, over the course of 6 coffees, Shahroo Izadi changed my life. At the time I was writing a series of articles for The Pool, investigating my relationship with wine. I'd contacted her to see if she could not only help shape the future, but help me figure out what was going on. I was in the pub again, on a Tuesday night again, with nothing inside me except a bottle of wine and a packet of crisps again. Wine was my response to stress, celebration, relaxation, a Monday night, a Sunday afternoon. It didn't matter, I always wanted a drink. The change that Shahroo brought to my life, however, wasn't one of dramatic reinvention, which, when we think of narratives around dealing with alcohol problems, or indeed breaking any habit, is often how the story goes. Because that wasn't really the intention. I didn't want to stop drinking or even believe I needed to. Shahroo Izadi changed my life because she allowed me to have a conversation with myself I never otherwise would have. And that's Shahroo's magic. It's as if she leads you to a back door in your own head, a secret one away from all the anxieties and insecurities and guilt and worry, and says, hey, look over here, there's another way to do this. And that way is being kind. The fact that you are about to listen to The Kindness Method makes my heart soar. I couldn't have thought of a more perfect name for Shahroo's work. From the beginning, I was caught off guard. We met in a swanky coffee shop in central London in broad daylight. It felt almost audacious compared to the hidden-away church basement of a moderation management group I'd once attended. And most startlingly, we weren't actually talking about wine. Instead, Shahroo wanted to know my hopes, ambitions, what I thought my skills and talents and strengths were. I was expecting her to ask me to keep a diary of every time I had a glass of Pinot. Instead, she wanted me to note the things that made me, me. Using her maps, the ones you'll find in this book, I began to build a picture of what I wanted my life to look like and what the hurdles to me getting there really were, something I would come back to over time, serving as both an exercise in honesty and a reminder of how far I'd come over the course of our work together. At first, however, I couldn't quite join the dots. I still kept bringing it back to wine. Over one of our coffees I came despondent. Why did I get so drunk at that dinner party at the weekend? Shahroo's response was not to ask me about how much I'd had to drink, but instead how the dinner party had made me feel, and in doing so, we uncovered feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy. Through Shahroo's guilt-free probing, I soon realized that drinking wasn't really about the wine, which is precisely why we weren't talking about it. Instead, drinking was like an oxygen mask I'd wear, inhaling gasps of extra confidence to take me through situations or emotions I didn't believe I was capable of. And in that way, Shahroo's work isn't about any substance or any habit in particular, be it wine, drugs, gambling, sex, or food. These are merely the symptoms. Shahroo's work is about the root cause. As you will see throughout this book, a lot of Shahroo's work is examining a situation and showing it to you from an entirely different angle. Imagine this as an alien looking down at the world of Marisa, she'd say. It's not often we are able to find the headspace or time to look at ourselves from a removed viewpoint. But for that hour over a coffee, suddenly there was Shahroo and I, looking at how Marisa had behaved that week. This book will give you the tools to find some of that distance too. In that space, Shahroo's talent is not to tell you what you've done wrong, but to guide you to a realization of why that scenario might have played out in the first place. She once described it like ballroom dancing. You, the client, have got to feel like you're the one leading the dance, but she's the one who can actually see where you're going. And once you begin to be able to see those events from a different angle, not only can you begin to really understand your behavior, but you can start being compassionate towards the person exhibiting those behaviors, the way you would be if it were a friend or even a stranger, basically anyone but you. The kindness method isn't about Shahroo being kind to you, it's about giving yourself the permission to be kind to you. Instead of shame and fear and guilt and disappointment, it's about forcing change with a power too easily overlooked, compassion. Sometimes our sessions would leave me teary-eyed in Fitzrovia Square, facing previously buried truths. Sometimes they'd leave me buoyant and empowered. Unfailingly, however, they always took me one step closer to understanding why I was drinking the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?